Welcome to the Third One channel, and welcome to a brand new series called Angels and Devils. In this series, we're going to be ranking characters from most good to most evil as people. We're going to start with iCarly, where we have 14 characters here ready to go. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And the last thing I want to mention is credit to Wicked Binge, which is the channel I got the idea from. Link in the description. The most good character, or the most angelic character in iCarly, is Spencer Shea. So the reason Spencer is so good is that he is often willing to give, people does he doesn't know very well, to help them, to give them a ride, to be courteous and let them enter his home, and he shows so much concern for the people close to him, like Carly, Sam, and Freddy. When Carly, for example, wants to go to a fight, he gets concerned. He says, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe you can get hurt here. And he was right. So this is kind of showing of concern. And I another thing I've mentioned, noticed with Spencer is that he hasn't really done anything evil. He has a few little things here and there. Most notably, the prank episode where yes, he pranks people, but he does this in a fun way. It doesn't necessarily ruin their day or hurt them in any way. And when a prank does go wrong and he hurts someone, he stops pranking for the rest of his life. He makes a promise to himself, and that just shows the kind of person he is. He does not want to cause anyone else harm. So I think he's just the most pure person in the show, just an angel, right? Moving on, we have a smaller character in Principal Franklin. He'll take our second place here for good. And Principal Franklin, I find, always makes the right decision out of concern or, what really is makes sense for the situation. If the kids really did do something bad, he offers them punishment that is justifiable. If a teacher gets angry at a student for like Carly or Sam for doing something minor, kind of funny, then he mocks the teacher a little bit, like, come on, grow up. And he's just shown to be very good. He even asks iCarly to make a show for his daughter, which is a big show, big fan of iCarly, and it just shows the kind of person he is. He just wants to make this school a better place, make his daughter happier, and there's really nothing bad we can say about Mr. Franklin. Moving on, we have Freddy at number 12. So, Freddy is. He always offers help, I think, and especially to Carly and Sam. Of course, he has his own personal interest in Carly, but, you know, without pay, he's ready to do it. He offers that help. He, what else? He's very agreeable. He follows all the rules, and he does not ever hit back to Sam or anything. He just shows kind of, he's a bit of a pacifist, but he doesn't he doesn't go by evil. He would his will is that everything is good, and he's ready to help, and um you know he's just friendly. So moving on, we have Gibby. Gibby is a bit hard to place because he does change quite a bit throughout the show, but at his core, he doesn't know better when he does bad, usually, and he offers to help. Like, he doesn't mind being the butt of the joke. He just wants to be with his friends, help his friends make the show, the iCarly show better, and what else? He's generally very friendly. He treats everyone as equals. He saves his friends in the I Psycho episode. Um, you know, um, they call for help, and he's there pretty much right away. And generally, he treats his brother quite well, and he's obviously a role model to Guppy, which, is good. So, Gibby generally is very good, with a few lapses, of course. At number 10, with no surprises, Gubby. Gubby is completely neutral. We don't really ever see him do anything bad or good. He's just a kid, right? And who can forget that he wishes everyone a happy birthday? Like, come on, that's pretty good. Moving on, we have Carly. So another character that's a little bit hard to place because there's things she does well, and things she does good and bad. She always tries to bring peace between Freddy and Sam, which is obviously a good thing, although there are times where she just watches Sam do really bad things. But that being said, she is, just like Freddy, a pacifist. Um, but sometimes she does break her cool. Uh, so, like for example, in that episode where she wants to go to that fight, she lashes out at her brother for showing concern. But generally, she always wants peace, and she wants everyone to be happy. Um, moving on, at number 8, we have Freddy's mom. So Freddy's mom, yes, she is incredibly loving and she takes care of her own son, but that's out of personal interest. That's a very neutral kind of good. It's not she's not going to help some stranger if she sees someone in need. Although there is a interesting case with Loubert where she does kind of help him in his time of trouble when he breaks his leg, I believe, or something like that. Obviously, that doesn't end well, but she also lashes out sometimes at the kids. Maybe you could put this as being a little bit too honest, but generally, she is just in the middle. She's not evil or good, but she is shows a lot of concern for the ones close to her. Next, we have Tebow. So Tebow is the first on this list, which I'd start considering as more on the evil side. We're kind of past the halfway point here. Tebow often tricks his customers and takes advantage of the people that are helping him. But generally, he is nice and chill. But he does move out of more self-interest than most characters in this show. Not much more to say there. Miss Briggs is next at number 6. So, Miss Briggs, as we all know, is quite mean and wishes harm. Like when she actively tries to get kids suspended or expelled, being complete tattletale at small things to Principal Franklin. We've seen her home life, and it's interesting to say the least. But overall, sometimes she makes irrational decisions as well, which lead to other people feeling hurt. So I'm not a big fan of Miss Briggs in terms of being good. Moving on, now we're into our top 5 most evil characters here. And this is where it gets difficult. But at number 5, I believe it's Sam. So I bet a lot of people were expecting Sam to be at the very top of the list. But the truth of the matter is, I think Sam has a good heart. But she chooses, when she does have this anger or energy, she chooses to act violently, which is obviously not good. But and she also takes advantage of Carly's generosity, taking food. She takes out her anger on various, like Freddy and Gibby, which she considers to be friends. Although this does get better as the show goes on, she becomes a better character, maybe a better person, maybe because of Carly. But generally, she's not. It's hard to say she's evil, but the way she's grown up with her mother, who is obviously a very bad role model, and she's seen how she treats men, aggressively, with lots of arguments. You can see how it would image in her, mirror in her character, but she's not evil. I wouldn't call her evil. And the reasons why she goes to jail are for doing things, or juvie, or for doing things that are not quite evil, but maybe more out of self-interest. Um, Moving on, at number 4, and I debated whether he was more evil than Sam, and I think he is. So Loubert is at number 4. So the reason Loubert is at number 4 is because generally what I came to the conclusion of is just Loubert just despises people. He wishes people harm. Like, for example, he tells the kids at Spencer's apartment where Spencer is, and they proceed to roll him down a hill into an ocean or whatever, something like that, when he's in the pumpkin. Other examples, I mean, he's just despicable, he's just mad at everything, and we don't really ever see him doing a good deed, even though he's supposed to be the doorman and very welcoming. So, and also, one thing that I think really tipped the scales for me is when he receives help from Freddy's mom. What does he do in return? He's completely unbearable and unthankful, and he gets angry when Freddy falls and gets hurt, and Freddy's mom's attention goes to Freddy, which is ridiculous. So yes, number 4. At number 3, we have Chuck. Chuck is the kid who annoys Spencer, or not annoys. He actively tries to hurt and capture and spray him with various liquids. So we don't. He's not. I mean, it's hard to call him evil because he is just a little kid after all. But he does actively plot to make Spencer's life worse, and not in a prank way, in a kind of like ruining his relationships and his plans and all these things. So we don't ever see Chuck being very good. So he has to go up here at number 3 because he is doing evil things all the time. He's an evil doer. That's what it comes down to. He enjoys harming others. Next, we have our top 2, and I think a lot of people are waiting for this one, and that number 2 spot goes to Neville. So I thought about what Neville really does in the show in the kind of more macro aspect, and he is willing to ruin other people's lives just because, or more specifically the iCarly crew's lives, just for not receiving a kiss from Carly, or the episode where he yells at kids. He goes through all that trouble. He gets help from iCarly, who he tried to ruin. You'll rue this day, and they try to redeem him, and it kind of works. And then he just yells at an old elderly person who accidentally runs over his foot. He seems to be spoiled, and he's not thankful for what he has. So just this macro grand scheme of like trying to ruin others for such minor things, and trying to cancel them with his platform is just not a good sign at all. And what good have we seen him do? Really nothing. And then at number 1, although not really a character in iCarly, more in like the iCarly movies or the longer episodes, is Nora. An absolute devil. Nora's a complete psychopath. She she gets her favorite web show hosts, or the crew of iCarly, to come to her house, which is a huge gift, free of charge, to kind of celebrate her only birthday party in company without her parents. And what does she do? She traps them in their basement. She treats them like dogs. And like, if this wasn't bad enough, well, another aspect is she plans all of this. She's just actively thinking, how do I trap these people? It wasn't spontaneous either. And then when she does get out of prison, and they come to her, was it another birthday party or something? I'm not sure. Like her getting out of jail party. I don't know why iCarly agreed to this, but they go to her house again. And of course, she does the exact same thing. Their house has been proofed with plexiglass. There's no way of getting out. And it's just, this is a complete psychopath. She's a devil. I don't think I need to explain why a criminal is a complete devil. So that's the first episode of Angels and Devils. I hope you enjoyed this new series. It is inspired by a different channel called Wicked Binge. But I'd like you to leave a comment down below what you thought of this and what you'd like to see next. Which show? A Nickelodeon show, perhaps a different show. And also leave a comment saying who you think is the most good character and the most evil character. And let me know if I messed up here somewhere, because I'm sure there will be some disagreements. But without further ado, check out our other iCarly content, and I'm happy that you guys made it so far in the video, and I'd like to thank you for it. And if you really like our content, you can subscribe. But without further ado, I'll see you guys later in another video.